In a recent report by Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda, speculation has surfaced regarding the Las Vegas Raiders' interest in quarterback Justin Fields. Pauline suggests that the Raiders are exploring the possibility of acquiring Justin Fields via trade, indicating genuine interest from the Raiders franchise. Now, according to Pauline's sources, he claims that general manager Tom Telesco wants to secure a big prominent name at the quarterback position in this offseason. This kind of aligns with the Raiders' apparent pursuit for Justin Fields, who has shown promise despite facing challenges during his young career with the Chicago Bears. The potential move of Justin Fields going to the Raiders is noteworthy, just given the history between Raiders' current offensive coordinator Luke Getsy and the history he has between Justin Fields, as they did work together back in Chicago these last 2 seasons. However, we definitely got to mention the fact that the lack of progress as a passer from Justin Fields during his time with the Bears ultimately led to Luke Getsy's departure from the Chicago Bears franchise mid-season last year. So definitely interesting to think about. This is kind of why initially I anticipated that this was not going to be something that we would be interested in. But something we also got to take into consideration is Luke Getsy expressed his admiration for Justin Fields and also hinted at the possibility of them reuniting here in Las Vegas.
No, tremendous growth for Justin. I told you, like I've said when I was there, like he's one of the best human beings I've ever got to work with. It's just the mentality that he brought every day, the consistent approach, the kind of man that he is. Just really, it was a blessing to work with him. He was someone that just came to work every day to get better and better, and I think he'll continue to do so.
So look, this report and the comments from Getsy definitely just raises some questions about the possibility of the Raiders trading for Justin Fields, especially considering the departure of Luke Getsy from the Bears due to the concerns about Justin Fields' overall play and just the overall success of that offense. They definitely underachieved. And here's the thing, if the Raiders really intended to go after Justin Fields, they got to be prepared to offer significant draft capital in exchange. Most NFL media experts believe that a trade for Justin Fields will likely start with a second-round pick. Now, should the Raiders trade for Justin Fields? In my opinion, I think the Raiders should not do this. I think we should stay away from this move, especially this early into the offseason. And, given that, I mean, if they're asking for a second-round pick, to me, that's just too high. That's too valuable of a draft pick, especially, too, since we're drafting a quarterback that is still a huge risk and a huge question mark. Not only has he not shown significant progress as a quarterback when it comes to his accuracy issues and him just being able to read a defense and be able to beat a team that way through his arm, through his reads, not only has he not shown any really significant progress in that aspect, but he also has injury history. To me, Justin Fields is one of those quarterbacks that if he can't use his legs, if he has to rely solely on his arm, that's where he's really going to struggle. He's already got injury history. And on top of that, why would we trade draft capital for a quarterback that's already 3 years into the league? Let's just say you trade for him and it turns out to be a pretty good move, starts to revive his career here in Las Vegas. Well, even then, I mean, you're only going to have him on a good contract for about 2 years. Then after that, you're going to have to pay him. And he's not going to be cheap. At that point, if we're trading draft capital for an unknown prospect, for a guy that needs development, and if we're trading for a quarterback just based on his upside and his promise, I think the better option would be via the draft. That way, if you do end up hitting, well, now you have that quarterback on 5-year contract if you draft him in the first round, and now you just opened up a huge window to load up on the roster and potentially open a legit Super Bowl window. At that point, I would much rather we just use that draft capital to try to trade up if necessary for our own quarterback in this year's draft. Like, honestly, if we're going just solely based on promise and potential, why not try to go after Jayden Daniels? He's younger. I think the upside is even higher with him. If he does hit, you'll have him on a very affordable contract for the next 5 years. And sure, it is going to be more draft capital, more than likely to move up. But at the end of the day, I think it's worth the risk if they're going to go that route. And look, we just also got to consider the fact that Luke Getsy and Justin Fields didn't work out together in Chicago. So really, what makes us so confident that they will finally work together here in Las Vegas? Me personally, for a second round pick, I think that's way too high for a guy like Justin Fields. Maximum I would consider is like a third round pick, and then you go from there. But even at this point, I mean, I don't really see the Raiders truly going after him. I think this is just kind of the time in the offseason where you are going to see more reports come out. You know, this is essentially what they call smoke season. There's going to be times where the franchise is going to leak certain things strategically to try and confuse other franchises to maybe think that the Raiders are going to go in this direction. Me personally, I don't think we're going to go after Justin Fields. I hope we don't, to be honest with you. I mean, really the only scenario I see where we could possibly do this is if the Raiders, after the draft, if we weren't able to get anybody and Justin Fields is still on that Chicago Bears roster, maybe they drafted a Caleb Williams or a Drake May, then that's the scenario where I could see that. And at that point, I mean, he would not be our first option, but at that point, you know, you gotta just go after what's available. That's really the only way I see Justin Fields coming in here. And just in general, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his game. He still needs a lot of work when it comes to just being a passer of the football. If you watch the film, there's a lot of instances where guys are wide open. He just wasn't able to read it properly. And sure, he's dynamic when it comes to using his legs. I mean, at one point of his career, I think he rushed for like 1,100 yards. So yeah, that definitely is crazy, but he has injury history. And to me, he's a quarterback that he's one injury away from being very limited as a player. But the speculation surrounding the Raiders' potential pursuit for Fields definitely adds intrigue to the offseason here for the Raiders. I definitely want to get your guys' feedback in the comment section down below. Do you guys think the Raiders should go after Justin Fields? Do you guys think this is a legit possibility? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.